today is not about what came out of the N.A.R. settlement. Today is about what we're going to be doing moving forward, how we're going to use this thing here to get us through the next 12 to 18 months and make sure when we understand what comes from this, we're on the right side of the coin and we've taken market share and we've improved our lives in our businesses along the way. So that's what today's about. It's not about what has come out of this N.A.R. It's what are we going to do moving forward. Today I'm being co-hosted with Angela Leach, and I always want to say Angela Ortiz, but that's not her name anymore. And Payson Robertson out of Palm Springs. These are two of my close friends in the business who are just absolutely crushing it right now in their own avenues. Payson, and Angela, you want to say hello?
How's it going, everyone? Excited to be here.
Yes, same here. I'm really excited to see everybody. Sorry, Danny, I'm trying to get this new link to just a couple people, but yeah, really excited to meet all you guys today.
If you don't know Payson was the guy who did 100 open houses in 100 days. So absolute savage beast of an animal. And then Angela here is the Instagram queen, and she's grown her Instagram from like 0 to 17,000 now in the past year or so. So just really crushing it online. And so I like to hang out with people who are doing awesome things. So I'm going to go through a few of the mindset shifts we've had. Gosh, sorry, people just keep coming in, so it's distracting me. I have to admit them. Some of the things that we're implementing, some of the things that we're shifting in terms of our mindset, shifting in terms of our marketing spend, and this is called a mastermind. So I am by no means the smartest person in this room. So if you guys are doing something that you've implemented that you want to share, I know some of my team members are on here, they can chime in as well. Please do so. This is an open room, a safe room, and there is no stupid questions. My goal for today would be to inspire you guys to come out of here like rocket ships and go into this market and understand that this is the opportunity of a lifetime. So that's my goal. I will start by asking the group as a whole, and Payson and Angela, of course, chime in. It's been what, 10 days since the settlement came out. What have you guys changed in your business over the last week and a half or so? Anyone in here changed anything that they've been doing? Anyone in this room? Nobody's changed anything?
Not yet.
Who was that?
Shannon. I'm just taking it all in. I'm
What's
new
up, girl?
Yeah. Hey.
Shannon's an absolute rock star, badass out of San Diego. Shannon, how many units you closed last year?
25.
25 units last year. And what was that year? Second or third year in the business?
Third year.
Third year in the business. Not bad. San Diego. You're taking it all in. You're digesting, but you haven't really shifted anything. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, and I actually have some sellers that I already have contracts with because we're going to be selling this year, right? Sometime this year. And so I'm preparing myself for a conversation, right? That I'll need to have with them. I think, like I'm hearing from everyone, and I agree with this position as well, my recommendation is we keep the RLA the way it's set up with the buyer commission as it is. But I've also been spending some time kind of printed out and reading the buyer broker agreement because I haven't used it before. So I have a lot of questions about, whether you guys that have been doing this for a while, whether you think that we're going to be in a scenario where we're writing these as onesies, twosies for every showing, or trying to take a more time period approach. So that's kind of what I'm interested to hear.
Well, that's a technical thing that I think will come over time. I think one of the things I wanted to address is we don't really know where this is going to go over the next 12 to 18 months. And I don't think you personally have the power to control that. And I don't think I do either. What I'd love to hear, at least what I really want to come out of this is action steps to protect our business. And action steps on how to increase momentum. right? Because I think all of us know for a fact that no matter what happens in the settlement, there's still going to be houses sold, right? So like, how do we continue on our 25, 35, 50 unit per year march, right? Without this having to, without this slowing us down. And I think a lot of people, I think there's going to be a huge separation here. I think there's going to be people who use this as an opportunity to bitch out. And I think there's going to be a lot of savages that come in and use this as an opportunity to take someone's lunch. And I really want the 42 people that are in here to be the ones taking people's lunch. And I know that's kind of sounds like a mean way to say it, but it's just true, right?
Let's take their lunch.
Let's take their lunch. Let's take their. This guy's eating. Who's this? Matt.
Matt, the right idea.
Matt is literally taking someone's lunch right now.
I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
No, that's great. No, it's phenomenal.
It was perfect.
Chelsea says, if y'all ain't hungry, I am. So really, you know, Shannon, I think the technical aspect of it, and you're so cute and funny, and I know you so well that is a question you would ask, right? How do I approach that's totally a Shannon question. I haven't even thought of that, to be honest. One of the things that we've been doing relentlessly, Charlene, Xander, Mitch, Katya, Jared, Kayla, some of the people on our team here, is we've been practicing our scripts and dialogue every single morning. We've been practicing and role playing our dialogue with our buyer consultations on how to get these signed, right? So one of the things everyone, just for showing up today, is going to come out of here with is our buyer consultation complete dialogue, the complete script to go through. And one of the things I really ask of you guys is just to come out of this thing with a new mindset of like, I'm going to be a prepared professional, right? I'm going to be a prepared professional, and I'm going to understand how to deliver this value proposition, this consultation perfectly. How many of us in here are guilty of not practicing our listing and buyer consultation on a weekly basis over the last decade?
I'm sure.
Anyone? Anyone or everyone? Looks like everyone. So do we think this is probably the right time to start doing the right thing? Yeah. So that's the big thing, right? This is the opportunity of a lifetime for us to snap out of our laziness and understand that this is a moment. Payson, what are you guys doing right now to not get tripped up by this?
Still taking massive action. Open houses every single day. So we haven't changed that piece one bit. I think everything for us, I think like you said, this is such a big opportunity for so many people to grow. There's a lot of people I've heard that are leaving because of this. That's market share that every single one of us can absorb. And you just need to be going out there and getting it every single day. Like you need to be prospecting every single day. And that part of our business isn't going to change. So yes, open houses every single day.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear, to start this off, Payson did 100 open houses in 100 days. That's his claim to fame. He's also 23 years old, and he's taking people's lunches. But so what else, Payson? What else have you seen in your market? Has anything else changed for you?
No, if anything, I feel like I've gotten busier, honestly, in the past 10 days. I don't know necessarily why, but I feel like I've gotten busier. I have more people calling me. But the thing is, we're just showing, I think what we have to do is just always show people that we're like, we're the experts and we know what we're doing, and we're constantly going out there and crushing it and showing people that. Like I think it's all about mindset. Like just over a year ago now, I thought, man, this business sucks and I suck and market sucks. And then I made a shift in between my own, 2 ears, and said, no, this market's amazing. This is the best damn market I've ever been a part of. Got my head out of my ass, excuse my language, and went on and sold 32 houses in the second half of the year. And it was really all just a mental shift here. And it's going to be the same thing with this going on right now. It's all in here. If we could either let this consume us and eat us alive, or we can take this as a learning opportunity and as a huge advantage to grow and take from people that aren't willing to adapt and move with it.
Love that. Part of my notes that I wanted to share today, I wrote that, we have to immediately positively reframe what this means for your life and your business. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to take market share, to commit to mastering your craft, and to get back to the all-in mode that it will take for you to be successful. I think as entrepreneurs, right, as a small business owner, which we all are, we have to understand that 90% of business owners fail, right, in the first 3 years. So this isn't an easy path that we've chosen anyways, right? And if we want to really kind of exaggerate how challenging this could be, is we're also moving not just from a market with 30% less sales volume, right? So from 2021 to 2023, sales volume in most of our markets around the country have dropped 25 to 30%. So there's less transactions to be had, right? And then you partner this up with this N.A.R settlement, and it just, in all honesty, guys, it should just make us much more serious about what we're doing in our careers, right? And it should inspire us, right? It should inspire us to be.
Log into this, and then like normally it says camera off, and then it
should we listen to Mike's conversation with his wife? Anyways, so it should really inspire us, guys. It should inspire us to be better, right? And I think most of us in this room know what it takes to get the job done. You know we need to prospect more. We know we need to follow up more. We know we need to do more with our sphere of influence. And this is our chance to get a good kick in the butt to do so. So, Angela, you're super present on social media, and you've been jumping into a lot of these rooms. What are you seeing and hearing that you love? And give me some feedback of what's going through on your end.
So what honestly I've been seeing a lot on social media, and then people I've been talking to as well, is a lot of these more veteran agents are excited about this. One, because now they actually get to kind of qualify. I feel like we're going to qualify our buyers better. So that's one thing that I'm kind of excited about. And then I was just talking about this with someone else. I was never the type of agent to pick up the phone, talk to a Zillow lead, and then just go to a vacant house with a stranger. And I don't know if it's because I'm a woman and I really care about my safety, but I was never wanting to do that. And so now that we have this in place, or that we might have this in place come July, I'm actually more excited because it's going to be more of a common practice. And one, I'm going to have to brush up a lot more on my buyer presentation. I'm really excited about making all of my marketing and my presentation a little bit prettier and better, and showing all the services that I offer, and just being able to show more of the value that I'm going to be able to offer these buyers. So that's why I'm excited. And then we're going to have that contract making sure that I'm going to get paid. I don't have to worry about them then signing with the listing agent or something, or trying to just talk to somebody they meet at an open house, like Payson, because Payson's at all the open houses. So I don't have to worry about that as much.
Yeah, and the other thing I think we all really need to start doing is like identifying who we are as an agent in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So are we a buyer's agent or listing agent that's willing to take a 1% listing or 1% buyer? Right? Like, who are you? Who are you willing to serve? Right? Who is your client? And how are you going to find those people? And it's totally cool, guys, to be the person who says, I'm willing to do it for 1%. But you better figure out a business model that works, right, with that model. And the other thing I told Payson about, I said, do you think a business owner who like sells tires would sell tires to somebody who couldn't afford tires? Like if someone came into your tire shop and was like, hey, I need to switch out my 4 tires, but I don't have the money to pay you. Are you going to switch out their 4 tires? Or are you going to say, fuck off and go find somebody who can pay you for your tires? Right? So it's just a mindset shift, right? Like we need to get more aggressive to find the people who are right fits for our business and who can pay us for our time. Simple as that. Charlene, bring us some heat on some of the things we've been practicing and some of the lines that we're going to really be excited about to deliver for our value proposition for our buyers.
Well, I just love that we've been focusing, like you said, on the value proposition. So instead of just, hey, let's meet for a consult so I can talk about your goals of buying a home, it's more focused on the strategy and how we're going to help prevent them from overpaying and prevent them from missing out on opportunities.
So driving in major pain is what our buyer consultation is basically based around now. Like instead of saying like, hey, rainbows and butterflies and all this stuff, we're going to say, hey, look, How many of your friends have you seen overpay in this market? How many times have you seen a buyer go up against 10 to 15 other offers? So bringing out the pain immediately, even on the phone while prospecting. Charlene just said this morning, while she was prospecting, I heard her in the other room. She said, yeah, I want to meet with you this week so I can show you how you're not going to overpay in the Saratoga market. It was such a strong line. And that's such a better line than just saying, hey, you want to meet Friday so I could show you some homes? Like, are you looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath? Like where you're right? Like bringing out emotional and pain in this market is going to be huge because in most of our markets, unless you're in Austin, there's lack of inventory, right? There's really tight inventory. So like, how are you going to find those opportunities and how are you going to avoid help them avoid overpaying? I love that. What else? Who here has been practicing their buyer role play and over the last 2 weeks and found something that is worthy of sharing here that could help somebody? What have you guys pivoted or changed in your consultation that you think is powerful with this new shift?
I've
Don't
been
be
able
shy.
to tell more stories.
Say that again.
I've been able to tell more stories. Instead of just saying hypothetically this and this and this, I can actually say, look, I promised this buyer that they weren't going to overpay. That I could find them something off market. And I did that. And I have them in contract. And if this would have gone to the market, they'd be paying 50 to 100K more for that home. And I did it in 3 weeks.
That's powerful. Jack.
I just wanted to
get.
say, yeah, all good, no worries. It happens a lot. I just wanted to say, like, I'm kind of like a brand new agent, and from all this that you guys are saying about like practicing your buyer presentations and whatnot, no one that I know is doing that. So like me hearing about this now, and even me, like I'm new. I didn't know I was supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
So
We hear this
hearing
all the
about
time.
this now, this is going to be a perfect time to take advantage of that, especially being newer. I don't even know what it's like to be in the market and get paid yet. So I'm like,
Awesome.
This is brand new for me. I can take over from everyone that's so used to the other things. Like, I don't know. I think we should be excited about it.
Let me tell you 2 things. One, I know you're going to be successful. And 2, the reason I know you're going to be successful is because you stood up here and said, hey, I'm an idiot. I can't believe I'm not doing this. And you realize how much you need to be doing it. Like just you doing that alone is a huge signal to me that you're on the right track. So you should be, I've been practicing scripts and role play. This is no joke. And there's people on this call that can verify this for about 9 years straight, almost every single weekday. And, now since probably the last 3 to 6 months, guys, I've been pretty paranoid about this whole settlement thing. Well before it actually got settled, I've been very paranoid about it. We've been practicing our buyer consultations at minimum once a week, full role play, but also scripts and dialogue every morning on our Zoom, on our script calls, because we've been handling these objections, right? So it's important for you guys to find those people who are in your market or at least around the country who you can partner up with and practice this, because what's going to happen, what's his name? Jack. What's going to happen, Jack, when you walk out of that door today and you run across the buyer and he says, hey, what's going on with this N.A.R. settlement thing? Like, do you know exactly what you're going to say and how you're going to say it to make sure you don't sound like an idiot? Right.
Not really. No. If I'm being honest. I'll just be like, dude, we're good. Just, let me help you buy a house.
I love it. You know what? And it'll probably work sometimes. But when you're walking into these bigger listing opportunities or these bigger buyer opportunities where they're interviewing multiple agents, I told Payson I'm going on a $2.5 million listing appointment right after this, and I know this is going to get brought up. Do you know exactly what you're going to say to these buyers or sellers to make sure they work with you? Right. And if you're winging it, what's your conversion rate going to look like versus if you're a sharpened axe, right? Walking up to that tree. Taken, Miss Plummer, you raise your hand.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, I'm a broker in Warrensburg, Missouri, about an hour away from where Jack is, and I just honing down what he's saying. It just practice. Practice makes perfect. I took, and as soon as the N.A.R lawsuit came out, I was like, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say to these buyers? I was literally having internal dialogues with myself almost every hour of every single day and just saying, okay, this is what's important. In my market, we're 10 minutes away from Whiteman Air Force Base. And so as many people on this call know, they know that the VA has not come back from that stance that they are going to allow buyers to pay for their commissions. And so I did a video and I said, I signed a 6% listing agreement after the N.A.R settlement, and here's how I did it. And basically, I took it to my sellers and I said, hey, look, we can choose, it's negotiable, but, choosing not to offer that 3% to a cooperative agent, will only cut our buyer pool in half. We are a strong veteran community. You can't throw a rock without hitting a veteran or active duty member or somebody, a household who knows one or has family of one. So it is very important to know your market, know your buyers, know your sellers, and know what their pain points are in general. And so just really honing in that specific area. I just wanted to share that, especially for people who have heavy VA markets, just saying, hey, this is still really important on top of all the value that we bring.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things Charlene came up with was saying, we don't want to create more barriers for the buyers, right? And one of those barriers might be paying for their real estate agent, right? So we need to help with that. I love that line as well. Where were we? Angela, just segue me in while I'm looking at my notes. How are you growing your Instagram so fast? I'm only asking because I want to copy you. You've like taken over your Instagram. How fast have you grown that thing in the last 12 to 18 months?
So I started last February when I had my son, or no, yeah, I had my son in February, but I think I started like a year after he was born. And honestly, I just started sharing things that I had learned from you, Danny. I felt like you were going to say something at some point because I was pretty much just mimicking everything you were telling me. And honestly, I think I was only giving value, which is one thing that you want to be doing, obviously, to get more buyers and sellers too, is I stopped trying to sell things and just was offering like, hey, this is the script I use to get more people at my open house, and also putting it into bite-sized pieces. That's what I would say if you are trying to get more seller buyers from your Instagram, or even just grow it, which it really doesn't matter the number. Most people have like 800 to 900 people on there. That's huge. So just offer bite-sized pieces of information and then be very consistent. So if you can do one reel, honestly, one reel a day for even just 5 days, that's huge. There's lots of ways to make it easier, but just consistency and bite-sized pieces of value.
I love that. Payson, you've been growing pretty quickly on your Instagram since I'm just going around there. What have you found has been successful?
A lot of reels. Like it's not even necessarily about like the quality of it. It's just about consistency with posting. I mean, our whole business is about consistency, but it's just about consistency with posting every single day. I think that's where I think in the last week and a half, I've grown 1,200 followers, which has been pretty cool. And it's just been consistency with reels. I had one that did well, but rest are, they get a few hundred views, a couple thousand views. Like it's not like they're blowing up. Just consistency.
The reason I brought this up is because you guys need to start finding all the free avenues to get in front of more people. As the market tightens, like your budget may tighten as well. And so what I would be doing is I'd be looking for all of the different ways. One of the quick strategies I came up with was every single time you show a house, you have flyers in your car and you door drop 5 houses in front of you, 5 houses to the left and the right of you. So every single time you get out of your car, you're dropping off 15 flyers. Boom, 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 boom. And they're just a basic flyer, right, that offers your services. And if you just get in the habit of that, like right now we're doing the race to 1,000 flyer drop-offs. We just got those released this week. They're just stupid, simple flyers with a QR code, But like every time you get out of your car, how are you loosening up inventory? Like what would it look like if every time you got out of your car, you hit 15 doors with a flyer? Something you could implement immediately that's super cheap, right? Devin, what's up, dude?
Yeah, what's up? I just wanted to add on that consistent posting. Like I do a lot of posting on organic Facebook. Nobody remembers your shit posts. Like if you're consistently posting, nobody remembers what you posted a week ago, what you posted 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago. Like that's just keep pushing content out there as constant as possible, and then eventually something will blow up. Like it doesn't matter what the fuck it is.
I want to say something because Devin, yeah, Devin has a great Instagram. I've seen his, and you, I think, also do ads as well on Facebook, or like you've taught how to do that. And one thing I want to say to that is a lot of the times people won't want to keep posting because they're like, what do I talk about now? What do I say now? I've pretty much said everything I need to say. But like Devin was saying, people don't remember what you posted. I have reposted the same video multiple times with maybe a different entrance or something because people liked it and because it was very valuable. So people are going to see it and save it, but then forget about it. And so you repost it and they're like, oh yeah, I remember I like that. And then they'll save it again and you'll share it with more and more people and get more people coming in. So that was a great point, Devin.
You know, the next thing on my little note sheet here that I had was like, why are you guys doing what you're doing in real estate? I think this is a really great time for you guys to go 30,000 feet in the sky and say like, what is my end goal here? Like, why am I selling real estate? Why do I want to drive in this kind of money? And I really hope that everyone on this call has crystal clear vision on their goals for at minimum 2024, if not 3, 5, 10 years, right? Because if you start thinking like, hey, this is my 1, 3, 5 year goals, all of a sudden, everything else that happens beneath that, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens with N.A.R. It doesn't matter what happens with buyers. Like you pivot, right? And you just do the next thing that it's going to take for you to get to that bigger goal. So the big thing I wrote here on my notes that I wanted to share with you guys is figure out what the end goal looks like and what's the fastest way for you to get to that point where you are today to that point, and then write that out, create a plan, put it into your calendar, Mike, and then execute it. Right? It's that simple, guys. Business is that simple. But if you don't know where you're going, and this is just basic stuff, right? If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, right? So if I knew I had to make 500 grand this year, like what's my fastest way to doing that? And then just fill in the blanks, work backwards, right? With whatever you have, whatever the market's giving you, you just work backwards from that. I know it sounds super simple, but let's see what we said here. We should be doing more, not less.
I always love the idea of like taking like that 12-month or 3-year, 5-year goal and pretty much what you're saying, and then condense it down. How do you make it happen in the next 90 days?
Yeah.
And then just, okay, you have a plan now for the next 90 days. That, that intensity or that ferociousness that you now have come up with, keep that consistent, and you're going to probably blow past everything you're wanting to do. But it's all about just figuring out how to do things in a shorter time span, because we as people, we waste so much time and we're not as near as productive as we'd all like to think we are. So if you could really think about where you want to be and shorten the time that it takes to get there and figure out how, I think, and then like you said, put it in your calendar so that way it's something you're constantly seeing every single day. It's going to help you so much.
Mari, I think you're in my group at EXP, so you can just email Joy and she'll actually just make you the identical flyer, and she'll just change your name and your photo and the QR code for your own customization. Pretty sure that's the Mari I know. So just email Joy and she'll get that out to you. Another thing that I've taken from this is like every time there's a big challenge, every time there's a big obstacle, it's an opportunity for you to go back and look at all the little holes that you have in your ship. So, just because I'm one to keep people accountable, how often are we auditing our finances? When's the last time you looked at all your credit card statements, bank accounts, all of that stuff? Last month? Last 2 months? Last 6 months? Whatever it is, probably not enough, right? So using this opportunity to start plugging all the holes in your business and all the different holes in your life, like where you're burning time, maybe the meals that you shouldn't be eating that are slowing down your day for prospecting, right? Has anybody ever ate a big Chipotle meal at like 1 p.m. and then just been shot for the rest of the day? Anyone? Everyone? Yeah. So like figuring out where those little holes are, right? So you can make those extra 5 to 10 to 20 contacts per day to help with the not just the N.A.R. settlement thing, but also the lack of sales that we're facing right in this year. I think is just critical, right? So just use this as fuel. That's a meeting summary. Use this as fuel, right? To get your body right, get your mind right, get your finances right, all the things that we should have already done that we know we're supposed to be doing. Utilize this as an opportunity, right? To be better and get better. That's how I see this. And that's why I'm super stoked about it. Because I'm like, oh, this is just another reason for me to just be a better human, right? And make a bigger difference. And I think that's why we're all in this room today. So who here has gotten a buyer broker agreement signed in the last 2 weeks for more than 2.5%? Oh, Jared, I saw you drop that hand. Chelsea, how did that conversation go in the last 2 weeks? What did it feel like?
I did 2.5%. So I did
Okay,
not.
all right. So let's do 2.5%. That's fine. How did it feel and what did the conversation like? Was there any awkwardness to it? Were you nervous at all? Like what did it feel like?
No, the only thing that I've noticed, or the mental space that I'm in with having my buyer's consults, is that I'm including more statistics like I would on a listing consult, because I feel that like you said, the buyer narrative has changed away from just dreams and sunshine and rainbows to like, how does this math? And being able to talk financials with a seller has always been important. But if you go into a meeting with a seller and you start with financials and they actually really cared about marketing, then you just lost the listing. Right. And so like taking your buyer consult in the same approach and figuring out what's important to the buyer first, and then being able to like illustrate your value by knowing their needs is how you get it done very easily. And for me personally, I can say that I, on average, save my clients about $45,000 per house. And so like I can pay myself, like sign here. And in the downside of the change to this legislation is that I won't be able to negotiate for your benefit as strongly as I could in the past. Before, that 45,000 would go straight to you. Now that 45,000 is getting split between me and you, so that way you can pay your agent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you know what that reminds me of, guys? Number one, nail on the head, right? Or hitting the whatever that saying is. This is just another listing consultation, right? If you've ever taken listings before, this is now basically a listing consultation. I mean, that's all this has turned into. So let me ask you this, Chelsea. What are the 3 most important things you're looking for in your realtor?
Yeah. People don't want to overspend. They want to be special. So off-market properties or whatever secret strategies you have.
Hold on. I'm role playing with you.
Okay.
You're the buyer. You're the buyer.
Okay. Got
Chelsea,
it.
what are the 3 most important things you're looking for in a realtor?
You know, I'm really concerned about being house poor. I don't want to get into a place that I like have overspent on. The other thing is that the market's super competitive and I don't want to compete. And so I really need your help figuring that out, how to do that. Can we even do that? And then, you know, I've just heard a lot of people complain about how terrible the communication was with their realtors or how they felt like they just like dropped them. And I want somebody who's going to be by my side and like really help me figure this out because it's my first time doing it. And I'm honestly like so scared.
Got it. Okay. Well, we're going to address all those things at the buyer consultation. I'm really excited to do that. Do you guys think that's a powerful question to ask before any buyer consultation? Like when you're prospecting and you set a buyer consultation, at bare minimum, right? We need to be asking that question for both sellers and buyers. But now that we're doing these buyers formalities, do you think it's important to know what they're looking for in their realtor before you walk into the consultation? And how
Yeah,
much of a head start that gives you? Was that Tazine's voice? Somewhere?
No, it's Shannon. I want to
Oh,
chime in on
Shannon.
that. I think it's huge. I talk about this a lot to the new agents on our team, and even though I'm not a super seasoned agent, I think one of my superpowers is the ability to determine what that person needs from me. Who do they need me to be? Right? Do they need me to mom them? Is this like a young couple and they're doing this on their own and their family is 1,000 miles away, right? Do I need to mom them? Do I need to just bury them with data? Like what are they, and I can adapt. Like I'll be whatever kind of realtor you need me to be that stays within my, personal value system. But I think that's what this is all about too, right? Is figuring that out and then delivering that.
So like this sheet that we've had for a long time, that I share with everybody, but like, I think pre-qualing your buyers before the buyer consultation is just huge. And that way, when you get to the buyer consultation, like, all the information you need to know. But most importantly, what are the 3 things you're looking for from an agent? Right? Like that they hand you what they're looking for in a silver platter. And then you just go fill those blanks. Shannon, that was awesome. And you know what? Who cares how long you've been in the game? You're selling a shit ton of houses. Like, come on, dude. #1 team in San Diego, something like that. Kind of to just circle back on plugging the holes in your life and business. One of the last questions I wrote out for myself: what are the habits that will make this journey more challenging for you? So what habits in your life are going to make this next 12 to 18 months more challenging for you? I think that's a powerful question. And then to really remove the fear completely, I asked myself this question: how many listings would I have to take over the next year to hit my financial goal? So not even worrying about buyers, right? And just saying, hey, I'm going to go for listings. So Shannon, if I said, hey, you're going to take 25 listings in the next 12 months, how much does this N.A.R settlement mean for you?
Oh my God, a ton, because I much prefer buyers.
Okay, so I asked the wrong person. Xander, if I told you were going to take 25 listings over the next month, how troublesome would this N.A.R settlement thing be to you?
Well, I wouldn't care, but 25 listings is no joke either. That's a lot of work.
Okay, you guys are not rolling. Anyways,
Hey,
if you were to
Kenny,
take 25
love
listings,
it.
yes, there's the answer I
it.
was looking for.
It would be
Yes.
irrelevant. I feel you.
It
Yeah.
would be irrelevant. It would be irrelevant, right? So it's all how we're looking at this, guys, and reframing it, right? And I think that leads us into what are we doing marketing wise. So I know a lot of us have done a ton of marketing around buyers, right? Like it's one of the easiest ways to target, Devin on Facebook outside of seller home valuations, right? The easiest next thing to do is market to buyers, get buyer leads in, right? And then drive that traffic. So if you are spending money on buyer lead flow, right, how is that going to shift and change as maybe buyers become more difficult to service and get paid from?
Can I pose a question?
Please.
What's your, because kind of part of what I see, what I suspect will happen in some markets and for some agents is kind of a race to the bottom for listings, right? Like who's going to do it for the least amount? I'll do it for a $5,000 flat fee, right? And so that's really what this is about, right? Is figuring out, and especially for agents who don't have the personal stats yet, you've got to figure out how to leverage what your team has done, right? And all of your language needs to be about our team is #1 and blah, 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 right? This is what our team can offer you, and don't worry so much about you not having those specific stats. And at the end of the day, if someone said the only way you're going to reach your goals is if you do X, Y, Z, then I don't give a shit what it is. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a mind shift for a lot of people, right? A lot of people, you can lead them to the water, Shannon, but they're just not going to drink it. and I think that needs to change, right? I think I posted something on my Facebook the other day about how agents would rather wing it for 3 to 5 years than just follow somebody who's done it before them.
Mhm.
Payson. Actually, no, Payson, you're the opposite of that, dude. You are like the king of implementation.
Yeah, but I winged it 2 years.
You did
I
wing
just
it for
put
2
my
years.
head on a wall for the first 2 years.
Oh my God, you
Zan-
haven't been around for very many years on the planet, so you are literally crushing it.
Xander said, focusing on lead pillars that generate listings is probably the biggest and most important change I can immediately implement. So like, how are we going to be focusing our prospecting, outbound prospecting more so on sellers than buyers, right?
Well, and Danny, if I can say something too, I
Please.
do feel like a lot of newer agents focus on buyers because it used to be easier to get buyers because they usually, I think it was what, 90% of them or 80% of buyers would go with the first agent that they interviewed. But now that they're possibly going to start interviewing more agents, now's the time for all of the newer agents to just start focusing on those listings because in reality, listings are easier. Listings are more of a for sure thing and it's a lot less time. So if anything, that's a good thing. Now a lot of newer agents like, hey, let's just go for the listing. It's going to be just as hard to get a listing signed compared to a buyer signed. So
I was on like a training mastermind kind of thing, actually with one of our lead systems. So we buy buyer leads, and they did a call the other day. And what is actually really cool about this settlement and like requiring the buyer broker agreement is there's going to be less confusion about who your buyer is and whether or not they're going to stick with you. And if you're going to be losing buyers that you've worked with for a couple of years because they went to the listing agent. So like on that side of things, it doesn't necessarily have to change. Maybe we get less leads that you're guaranteed to be working with. So instead of working with 10 leads that are maybe committed to you or maybe not, now you're working with 5 that you know are committed to you and you have a signed agreement for.
Just to add on that, I would.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Kayla.
You're now protecting your time better too, and you're not going and jumping through hoops for someone that's not going to respect your time.
I just want to add, Kayla is on the treadmill right now at the gym. She has 4 daughters that are all on spring break right now. She is the ultimate badass mom, trying to hit all of her goals at once. I could cry right now, but I'm not going to. I mean, how amazing is that, guys? She's on the fucking treadmill right now.
If her kids are on spring break, that's the quietest place she has to listen to this meeting.
Oh, they're there. They're there with her. That's the crazy part. Anyways, we love you, Kayla. What was I going to say? Got sidetracked. Oh, be sure on your buyer broker agreements, especially if you're in the faster markets. A lot of us are in real fast markets. Homes are selling it within like 2 to 3 weeks. Make sure whatever your average days on market or offer deadline, your cancellation agreement is longer than that. So like in our market, I'd want it for about 3 weeks. That way they can't cancel and then go to the listing agent on that offer deadline. So whatever that gap is, I would just strategically make that. My last one I got signed, it was 6 months. I just put 6 months just to see.
Danny, yeah, I'm curious.
yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about that because I heard Daniel Beer talking about like instant buyer reps for open houses, and I think that's brilliant. And I usually do like 24 months on my buyer reps because I explained that most realtors work with the consumer for 13 months minimum because it takes a while to go from ideation to execution. And so what are your thoughts? Short versus long versus is that just going to boil down to where the buyer is at in the funnel?
Yeah, I'd say whoever it is, you're going to make that decision on the spot. I also think that it's just like anything else. Like, who is that buyer? Like, do they seem like a sleazeball? Like the you know the shadier of a character, the more aggressive I'm going to be with my timelines, right? To try to weed out the bad apples. I think that also once again goes all the way back to prospecting, because the more we prospect and the more viable candidates we have in our pipeline, the harder we can press on our agreements. Right? When you have one listing appointment, right? And they say, hey, are you willing to go down to 4%? You know, the odds of you saying yes with no other prospects in your pipeline are so much greater, right? So prospecting solves all things. Hot leads, money in your bank account, right, solves all problems when it comes to those types of questions, because you can be so much more aggressive when you have all of those backups, right? As a new agent, if you're on here, I would take that. You know, my wife and I have been saying that for a decade. What's the solution to everything? It's more. So just be aggressive, be confident. Some of the notes that I wrote in here was like, moving forward outside of this meeting, when you leave here today, number one, go implement whatever the fuck you learned. But number two, be confident and be aggressive moving out of this room, right? Like, let's go practice our buyer consultations with all in force. So then when we are face to face with the consumer, like, we're not nervous, right? I think the nervousness is gonna it's just gonna be so pungent to the consumer if you're not practiced, right? If you're not practiced on this conversation with your sellers and your buyers and they ask you about it, like, you're gonna reek of just scarcity, right? That's what they're gonna feel. So you have to come out of this thing and be like, I'm gonna practice this every single day and nail this until it's perfect. Payson, what else? What am I missing? We got about 10 minutes for questions, but what else do you want to chime in on?
I think it just really falls back on the your scarcity mindset. If you're not prospecting enough, or if you are prospecting enough, you're not worried about having to cling on to someone that's not willing to pay you. That was one shift for me. I just even noticed for myself in the last year. I walk into listing appointments now and I know what my fee is, and if they don't like what I have to do and what I have to say, then I just walk out and I'm not worried about it because I have more coming. So I think that's just one thing like everyone just needs to really focus on. I think everyone says that they prospect, and I don't feel like everyone actually prospects. Like we all say we do, but like we rely on online leads that are given to us by our team or by our brokerage. And we're like, oh, we're prospecting, we're calling our leads. It's like, no, what are you doing outside of that? And that's where things like open houses or cold calling or door knocking come into play. Plus, you make way more money off of those damn things. So I think it just comes into massive action in regards to prospecting. And then you're not worried about, what if this buyer can't pay me or not, because you don't have to deal with that buyer then. So like you said at the beginning of the call, like it comes down to, if you have enough stuff going on, you're not worried about the one person that's like, hey, I can't afford to pay you.
Yeah, that is it, dude.
I would just add one thing.
Yeah.
I think that right now is a really unique opportunity for agents who are testing it out, because your deadline for getting off the pot is July. So you can prove to yourself whether or not you can make it in the next 3 months or 4 months, and allow yourself the grace of leaving if you need to. But you having hard deadlines with yourself psychologically creates a need for execution. And it also creates an extreme awareness of whether or not you got the results. And so I would just use the deadline to inspire you to like get up or get out.
I love it. And I would say get out, like, if you're even questioning it, like, because with 25% less sales volume, with buyer competition going, there's commission compression is coming, whether you like it or not, right? I mean, it's coming. You better believe it. And so, you're going to need to prospect like you're supposed to be prospecting, like Payson said. Like this, we just get paid too much money, right? Like, we get paid too much money to not fight for it, right? And I just think we've had it all so incredibly easy. Maybe not our boy Jack over there in Kansas City, or our girl Tegan over in Missouri, but some of our higher priced markets, like, we've just had it so easy, guys. Like, and it's time to buckle up and really show them what we're worth. We got 10 minutes. I wanted to open it up for any questions about anything at all. I'm going to be sending you guys the buyer consultation, all of the objections that we're role playing. Thanks to Charlene for creating that list. Thanks to our team for bulletproofing that buyer consultation value proposition thing. We also have a book club starting with Profit First next Wednesday at 9 a.m. That's chapters 1 through 4 for Profit First book, one of the most important books on doing the right thing with your money, which couldn't be better timing. Questions from the group, anything at all about the business. Doesn't have to be about N.A.R. Doesn't even have to be about real estate. Open floor for anyone. The dumbest person in the room usually wins.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up, Chris?
Do you think with the settlement and everything, and people talking about, oh, I'll go to a listing agent, do you think eventually they'll make dual agency against the law, like some states?
Good question. I hope so. I hate dual agency. I try to avoid it with all my power. It's just not right for the consumer. So I don't know, but they should. But you know what? If you're just thinking grand scheme of like America and like freedom, like the seller should have the choice to allow dual agency or not. So I don't know. But I would just say, just from a frame of reference of doing the right thing for your client, you should try to avoid it, especially when you're on the listing side. Devin.
Yo, Sarah I think she accidentally direct messaged me a message, but she said she's been seeing agents post different packages with different percentages. For example, 6% you get this, 7% you get that, 8% you get this. I just wanted to put that out there and get your thoughts on that.
6% what? Sorry.
I'll copy. So she direct messaged me that by accident, I think.
Oh, gotcha. I've been seeing agents post different packages with different percentages. 6% you get this, 7%. Yes, we've been doing that for quite some time. So Gary Keller talked about that in 2015 at Mega Camp about real estate commission menus. We have one of those. You should have one too. You should have a cash offer option as well. I think choices for each different prospect is very important. I'm excited to see the menus roll out for buyers. Yeah, right. That's also been floated around. We've seen that being floated around for different services for buyers, right? Showing costs X, opening doors costs X, or whatever it's going to be. Writing offers costs Y. I think all of this gets rolled out, like settled in the next 24 months. Like 24 months from now, we're going to have a new way of doing business. We don't know what it's going to be, but the number one thing you can do right now is hang out with people like this who are psychos and be a psycho. Like, get out there and prospect your butts off. What else? What else do we need, guys? Every single one of you should have a question. What are you
Aside
struggling
from
with?
your buyer consult practice, which you've already been doing, and being more intentional about going after organic leads, what else are you doing to prepare your community or to prepare your team for the shift?
I don't know. Yell at them. So funny this morning, my Lyft driver, he said,
relentless with saying practice, 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 practice. Stop being lazy and practice.
My Lyft driver this morning, 4 a.m., he said, the best mentors are tormentors. He said that to me. And I was like, do you know who I am? Best mentors are tormentors. I thought that was kind of funny. You know what? I just genuinely believe that all the things we were supposed to be doing anyways are the things we just need to do now.
Amen.
We knew we were supposed to be prospecting for 2 hours a day and following up 1 hour a day. We knew we were supposed to be practicing our buyer and seller consultations all the time. So we're perfect at them. We knew all these things. We've been saying it, right? So I think that's it. I just think it's an opportunity for us to be the person we're supposed to be in this industry. I don't know if there's anything else to it.
Yeah. As a leader, because I know you made your team intentionally smaller, are you leaning back into recruiting and building a larger team, or are you focusing more on building your network? Like how are you offsetting that, or what's your strategy?
Yeah, me personally, like I'm just not taking on any losers in my life anywhere. That's just my new thing. Whether that's a coaching client, whether that's a team member, whether that's anyone, I just can't afford to spend my life power on people who aren't going to do stuff around me. And that's honestly why I am co-hosting this with Pace and Angela, because I love their action. Their action speaks louder than words. And so no, I'm not actively recruiting to my team. In fact, I've turned down probably 5 people in the last month trying to join my team. I'm just focused on my personal production and making sure that the guys that are here in the room, like every day, live a big life and continue on with their journey towards success. So my EXP group, on the other hand, come on. So yeah, that's my philosophy right now. And guys, you need to protect your circle. Like right now, more than ever, you need to be looking around your office and see who's scared and who's not taking action and avoid them with everything, right? You need to stay around people who are doing the painful things every single day, because that's what's going to give you the momentum to keep doing that yourself. I mean, it's critical. Thank you, Chelsea. That was a great question. Got me all jacked up. And it's good to see a lot of faces I haven't seen in a while, guys, on here. Really good to see you guys. Jared, what's changed for you? You have a small baby at home. You've like really. I mean, your goals are now 5 appointments a week, which is crazy. What's changed in your mindset? I've actually been wanting to ask you that.
So I was actually going to add on to just the experience that I've had ever since we've been having the N.A.R talks and the buyer consult practices, along with the baby. So I have a newborn baby. Well, he's actually 4 months now. So just everything that's been going on with it, I've been taking massive action every day. And I've seen a lot of fruit from my labor. 5 appointments each week, whether that's coming from open houses to follow calls to anything to get the job done. But just seeing the difference in taking that action and, practicing the things that need to be done. I can say that, I've gotten so much better to the point where I actually had a buyer's representation signed. I can actually have these consults without, stumbling on my words. And it's all because we practice every Wednesday. I head out across the bay to, practice with Charlene, Xander, Mitch, Katya, everybody in the group. And we're just in the thick of the weeds, just doing it every single day. At first it was tough, but just the more you do it, the less hard it gets. And you can just explain everything like it's the back of your hand after a while.
Yeah, the first time we got together, it was really sticky, and like, even though we'd all done buyer consultations before, it was like almost like we were starting new, right?
Yeah, we had a bunch of questions, but we have a whole bunch of objections that we can now answer like that. So
Yep, that's part of the game, right? Understanding what objections are going to come. The funny thing about objections, and I've been objection handling, like I said, for almost a decade now. There's only a handful of objections that you're going to face. There's so little amount of objections. Like for some reason in our head, it's a mountain of objections. There's like 5 total objections for both the buyer and seller side. So knowing those 5 and then just practicing them, understanding when they're going to come from, and you can just, boom, they hit you with the objection. You know what you're going to say. Payson, where can people follow you?
Instagram, it's my name exactly as it's spelled, just Payson.Robertson.
Absolutely fun follow. Payson is a really fun follow. Angela, how do they follow you again?
Yeah, mine's angela.leach.realty.
Real simple. I go by the Giving Agent. I don't know why. But I appreciate you guys for showing up. I really do.
Yeah.
I love and care about all of you guys. Truly, really do. And I wish you nothing but great success. And if you need anything, reach out to any of us on the call, from my team members to the people on here. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining.
One last thing.
Yeah.
One last thing. I think it's really easy to not be scared about big changes like this when you're constantly in rooms with people that are doing way bigger things, that are selling, 100, 500, 1,000 homes a year. And when they're not scared about things and they're just like, hey, this is how we're going to change and implement, it makes you feel all the better. So I think, like, if anyone can do anything, just make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right freaking people. I didn't do it my first 2 years. It sucked. I'm so confident and so laser focused on everything because I now have people that I can go to that aren't worried. They're just like, hey, this is how we're going to pivot. We've been doing this. We sell 500 plus homes a year. What is there to worry about? So it's just making changes and having the right people in your room.
That's right, brother. And I'll get you guys, everyone who
That's it,
registered
though.
for this, we'll get all that stuff emailed out to you guys. If you have questions on it, let me know. But just go out there, take massive action.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.